Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Monday morning. It's Eric here with an update on our snowstorm that is approaching from the west. Not much has changed in the data since last evening. This is going to be a major winter storm, one of the biggest of the season for the most people across our region. It's going to be high impact, especially tonight into tomorrow. And it's going to cause a lot of disruptions to travel across not only our part of the country, but areas to our west and especially areas to our east. This will be a full-out blizzard for parts of coastal New England with a crippling snowstorm across the interior. I'll show you some snow maps in just a second. Here's a look at current radar this morning. A lot of what you're seeing, the blue there across northeast Ohio, northwest PA is virga, precipitation not reaching the ground. The real snow is back here across Chicago and Peoria and heading up towards Milwaukee and Grand Rapids. Notice there is some rain as you go farther to the south. It's not completely outside of the realm of possibility that we see a few raindrops as the precipitation moves in this evening, but any mixing or liquid would be very brief. Quick change over to snow then, expected as we go into the night. We'll show you the modeling in just a second. As far as the watch warnings and advisories go, not much has changed here. There was one subtle change overnight. Trumbull County was put into a winter weather advisory instead of a winter storm watch. A little confusion there. That's not a downgrade. Going from a watch to an advisory is not a downgrade. And I've been preaching, don't get too caught up in a watch, a warning, advisory. Pay attention to the forecast and the impacts. So anyway, winter storm warnings along the lakeshore and over to Mercer County. The rest of us in a winter weather advisory. But again, let's focus on what our forecast is and what we can expect as far as the timing goes. Again, virga this morning, precipitation might appear on your radar, but nothing to concern ourselves with. Everybody will get home from school just fine today, and the roads will be just fine up until sunset or even somewhat after, because the precipitation doesn't really push in until 7, 8 o'clock this evening. Here's 8 o'clock on our high-res modeling, showing that first streak of snow pushing in, maybe just after sunset, 8 o'clock, and then here's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and most places it will be snowing by 9, 10 o'clock this evening, and then here's midnight, snowing at a decent clip. So that's the high-res modeling. That only goes out 18 hours, so we'll have to switch models here. Now what's gonna happen here, and this is just a textbook northeast snowstorm. You have an Ohio Valley low that eventually transfers its energy over to the coast, and that coastal system becomes the dominant low pressure system. And when I mean dominant, when I say dominant, I mean dominant because, yeah, look at this thing curling up and just winding up, and it's 985 millibars by Tuesday afternoon. It'll be snowing like crazy. New York City, especially just west of New York City, up into the Poconos, southeast PA, the Hudson Valley of New York, the Connecticut River Valley up towards Boston, just a crazy day for them tomorrow. And that storm will continue pushing off to the north. Now, what's going to happen for us is this is going to evolve eventually into a lake effect event by late tomorrow night, and into Wednesday. Very strong northerly flow on the backside of that low. And we have to remember, the lakes are unfrozen. We had a very warm winter. So the lakes are wide open for business. Now, the water temperatures on the lakes are not nearly as warm as they were back in November, but they're still unfrozen, so they can still create some bands of snow. And so we're going to get into a blustery cold lake effect kind of a pattern, much more chaotic, much more changeable by Tuesday late afternoon and evening into the night. Until then, everybody's kind of in the same boat. It's a general snow, but for the lake effect, of course, our focus begins shifting a little bit farther to the north. And that's one of the reasons why our highest snowfall totals in our forecast here is in the north. Now, you have to remember when you look at this map that not all of this is coming at one time. You're not going to wake up tomorrow morning to these amounts. You're not going to wake up tomorrow morning in Mahoning County and see 7 or 8 inches of snow on the ground. It'll probably be more like 2 or 3 by daybreak tomorrow. This is a grand total when you count what happens starting this evening and taking us all the way through Wednesday, when the lake effect will gradually taper off late in the day. So this is a long duration event. It's one of the reasons why the Weather Service has not pulled the trigger on a winter storm warning for more locations, because, again, we don't want to get too in the weeds on this, but there are certain criteria that have to be met in order for it to be a winter storm warning. You have to have X amount of snow in 12 hours. And because this is all kind of stretched out, most places might not meet that exact warning criteria. But, we like to preach impacts here, and you're your life, your travels will certainly be impacted starting tonight and taking us through Wednesday. But this is not all coming at one time. As far as the actual forecast goes, one tweak we might have to make today is in southern Columbiana County. We might just have to throw them back in the 4 to 8 zone. We're in the 2 to 4 zone. Salineville down over towards East Liverpool now. I think those places down there are closer to the 4 than the 2, and we might just go ahead and get rid of that 2 to 4 inch range. But so for the majority of us in our viewing area, it's 4 to 8, 8 to 12, and maybe the higher end of that range looking more and more likely in the far northern reaches of Trumbull and Mercer counties. Anyone traveling, especially late tonight and tomorrow, whether you're going to Cleveland, whether you're going to Pittsburgh, whether you're going on 80 east into PA, whether you're going on 76 over towards Akron, your travels will certainly be impacted. And we came up with this graphic, high impacts for the roads Monday night, again on Tuesday. And then as things begin shifting into more of a lake effect regime by Tuesday night, notice our highest impacts are the farther north you go, with lower impacts on the roads the farther south and southwest you go. On Tuesday night, and the same idea holds true for Wednesday. Your highest impacts on the roads will be in the north. This is going to be just a crazy storm for the Northeast. Look at these colors. They're pretty. But if you notice the legend right above my head, when you get into some of that teal, that's like 2 feet or more of snow. That's the Poconos, up into the Catskills, up into the green and white mountains in New England. Thankfully, we're not going to experience anything like that here. We've had bigger storms before. We'll have bigger storms again. This is unusual for this season because we haven't had that much snow and certainly not that much storminess. But all things considered, this is going to end up being, a fairly textbook medium-sized snowstorm for the Mahoning and Shenango Valleys. Take it slow on the roads. Plan accordingly. We have you covered. We'll keep you updated throughout the course of this. We'll get through it and get back to a somewhat warmer temperature regime, by the end of the week and into the weekend. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 6 and 11. Of course, more updates on social media throughout the day.